You're live. Good luck.
Hello, everyone. This is Mass Effect. Unfortunately, I don't think it's quite up to the same standards as the last run in terms of, graphics or gameplay, voice acting, certainly not animation. On the other hand, I do have to say this is most definitely, at the very least, a more accurate portrayal of ancient Rome, so it's got that going for it. Anyway, High Spirits wanted to get this going soon, so I'm just going to go ahead and give a quick countdown, and then we will get going. So, 3, 2, 1, go. I'm starting from a save here because Mass Effect runners do not like watching the intro every single time you do an attempt, because that's like a good 3 minutes or something. It's a while. So all runs start from a save exactly where you would start and gain control. I also have a Logitech G502 here, which is a free-scrolling mouse. We also have flicked it twice so far, and that skipped all that dialogue. Dialogue skipping is not normally set to a scroll wheel, but with a few tweaks in the INI file, you can do that. So it's one of the more subtle but significant time savers over the course of the run. Most of the time I'm going to be skipping through dialogue very, very quickly. And other than that, what are the things that are significant about New Game Plus? Well, I'm starting off at max level. That may change soon, but there's some science that needs to be done on that. Actually was just kind of brought up as a possibility very recently, so we haven't really had a chance to completely figure it out. Low levels may end up being faster. There is potential for a glitch that would reset a lot of your character data, and if you're able to do that, then theoretically you might be able to do things like complete the game at incredibly low level with the same high level equipment I have right now. But again, that is not fully determined yet, so we'll see. I'm playing it at high level. Enemies stop leveling up at level 40, so every level you get beyond that just gives you more power, more hit points, and so on. You can see I have Colossus 10 armor there. I'm playing as a Vanguard. That is personal choice. Infiltrator is also very good for New Game Plus. So, with New Game Plus, you obviously get a lot of abilities, and while Vanguard is much more definitively faster in New Game Plus, it can be kind of your choice. It's more your play style. Each class gains and loses a small amount of time in a couple different places, but I like playing as Vanguard a little bit more, so I play as Vanguard, and that's pretty much all there is to it. So, I am going to quick turn on my autosaves here, just for safety. My pre-baked save does not come with that enabled, so there we go. That is... Alright, there we go. Wanted to pop that gas bag to get a little bit of sprint. Sprint is obviously fast. Game doesn't let you do it all the time, so you want to do it when you can. I'll give you a hint, Lonesome Walker. Who am I going to save? It's all down to speed and also a bit of laziness. Which class has the world record? I would have to double check which the record holder used. I think Infiltrator, but again, we've actually done a little bit of timing, and it is more or less a wash. It's actually more important as for which, like how well you play as opposed to which class you play as. A few more enemies I'm gonna kill over here. But I'm not heading up there because instead I'm going to kind of head up to the corner here, crouch, quick save, once the game lets me, there we go, and load that quick save. What this is going to do is it's going to put me just out of bounds right here. So, if I walk up here and walk up this seam and hopefully, no, I'm gonna drop back down and try that again. That would have failed. This could get back up there. I might be able to. There we go. Awesome. That's good. That was fast enough. I will take it. So I am obviously not supposed to be up here, and this is going to have a few ramifications for the run. Obviously just kind of shooting down there to get into combat. Kaidan doesn't really have any firepower other than his biotic and technic powers, so that's going to allow me to sprint pretty much as I want along here. So I've skipped a few triggers by going far enough out of bounds, but I am going to have to drop back in and do some stuff in order to progress the game normally. First off, of course, I'm going to head down here and drop back in bounds. Loading! I want to make sure I drop back about here. There we go. And now I am going to have to kill these husks. Whoops, I wanted to use that power. Anyway, so I don't have Ashley. That's not a big deal, especially in New Game Plus. Kill the husks. Examine this body. Once it lets me. I killed him, right? Yeah, I killed him. Why is it not letting me... This is weird. Did I trigger it and just not realize it? I shouldn't have. Oh, there! Now it triggered. Anyway, so... Oh yeah, that's right, you can just trigger it by going past the guy. That's right, that's right. Things you occasionally forget. So, kill that guy. I'm going to run forward a bit, and then as soon as it lets me quick save, I can quick save and load, and that's going to load the rest of the enemies here. So, hi, Geth. Oh, I forgot I ended up facing the opposite way I wanted to face. That's fine. Kill some of these guys, because why not? Not that they're really so threatening, honestly, on New Game Plus. You can see I'm barely taking any damage once my shield is gone. I do have to kill that guy. I thought Kaidan would use a power on him, but he didn't, so whatever. So now I am at the final section here. And it is a bit faster than you would be normally, obviously. So I still don't have Ashley, and if you're wondering why I'm playing as a male shepherd, you will see that in a little bit, because I still don't have Ashley, but the game thinks I should have Ashley, and it gets funny. So this section is going to be pretty standard. Kaidan isn't going to do much, but I don't really need to do much. Need him to do much. Turn around. I had some weirdness with my mouse today. I booted up my computer and had to kind of fiddle around with it, do a few restarts. So my mouse settings are kind of off from where I'm used to them being. But this is close enough that I won't have any big problems. Just a little bit of funkiness like you're seeing there, where I don't get the quick turnarounds that I want sometimes. Sometimes it's just me trying to do it a little bit early. Have Kaidan go up there. He might be able to do something. He does have his tech powers, and those can be useful. He just has very bad equipment. So I'm gonna finish that guy off, finish those guys off real quick, and now I'm going to kill these guys down here. They die super fast. And then investigate the beacon. So the husks are just kind of gonna stand there. And now enjoy the Ashley free cutscene. Normandy. This is why I wish that we had been a male shepherd at AGDQ earlier this year. But As always, Femshep won the bid war.
Roger, Normandy. Standing by.
Beautiful, huh? I love it.
No, don't touch it. It's too dangerous.
And unfortunately, while we do have a lot of skips in this game, some cutscenes you just can't skip. So there are going to be a couple of them here. There's this one, then there's one after that. Then there's some dialogue, which I'll be able to skip pretty quickly.
We identified the ship that touched down on Eden Prime, the Normandy, a human alliance vessel. It was under the command of Captain Anderson. They managed to save the colony.
And the beacon.
One of the humans may have used it.
Red light, get angry. Saren smash!
This human must be eliminated.
Dr. Chakwas, I think he's waking up.
The thing about game audio, I will say, is that it gets significantly louder in some points and much quieter in others. So, I do have it a little bit quiet on purpose.
The lieutenant and I carried you back here to the ship.
I better add this to my report. It may... Oh, Captain Anderson.
Aye, aye, Captain. Be in the mess if you need me.
Sounds like that. We should be getting close. Head up to the bridge and tell Joker to bring us into dock.
Will do, and now there'll be a quick autosave there. There are places where I can soft lock and things like that, so... Hey, Ashley. So, autosave is obviously a very nice marathon safety thing. Normally, any place where that would happen would just be a reset, so... I don't have it enabled by default. That's why I turned it on earlier on.
Good timing, Commander. I was just about to...
And another cutscene.
See that taxpayer money?
Don't worry, it'll get much more entertaining soon. Pay attention to the dialogue sequence between Joker and the control person here in a second, and tell me if you think the sequence is the way it should be, or if it might have been the victim of some last-second editing.
Its main gun could rip through the barriers in any ship in the Alliance fleet.
Good thing it's on our side, then. Citadel Control, this is...
Yeah, also the typo.
Requesting permission to land.
Stand by for clearance, Normandy. Clearance granted. You may begin your approach. Transferring you to an Alliance operator.
Roger, Alliance Tower. Normandy out.
Normandy, this is Alliance Tower. Please proceed to Dock 422.
There's a lot we could say about later Mass Effects, including their speedruns, but I'd rather not. Although I do like 2. Quite a lot. So grenades on the floor, like you saw me do pretty much at the very start, is just a way to get sprint for a bit. They are the biggest use that grenades have in this run. I'm going to head up to Citadel Tower. Say hi to Garrus real quick, just because of the way scripts work a little bit in this game. And now instead of going up to talk to the council right now, I'm just going to go back here. This corner looks fun. I think I can do something with this corner. Oh, sure enough. Alright, how about I try this again? Whee! So, running until fatigued is, you know, just not a big deal. You want to use as much sprint as you possibly can. But now, rather obviously, I am out of bounds. Crouching in corners, then saving and loading, the game just does not handle it well. This is not a PC exclusive thing, though the crouch and uncrouch I did after the second clip there was PC exclusive. Console can do the skip just fine too, but the method is a little bit different. You need to be able to fall, because you can't do the crouch and uncrouch. In both of these cases where I crouch and uncrouch, you would just do a save and load. And now, yeah, so this is Cora's den down here. I'm just kind of walking along on top of it, around here to just find Fist. I'm going to crouch against this wall, quick save, load, and hold my A key to fall back in bounds. The Infiltrator, one of the time saves it has over Vanguard in this run, is that it can... oh, come on. Didn't give me the shove. Whatever. I killed him fast. So, you can actually kill Fist from out of bounds. And, that saves a few seconds. It's not a huge time save, but it's there, and it's funny. So now, Ashley and Caden might very well drop here. I'm also going to have a conversation with these warehouse workers, because that triggers if you have enough Intimidate or, really? Marathon luck, everyone. That rarely happens. Get out of my way. So... they're actually surviving surprisingly well there. I'm going to go ahead and lift these assassins, kill them. And, yeah, head on to get Tali. So those warehouse workers only talk to you when leaving Fist's area if you have a high enough Intimidate or Persuasion rank to persuade them. It's kind of odd, but that's the way the game works when you're glitching through it, apparently. I wouldn't say that never happened before, because I have had that happen before. It's just it's exceedingly rare. Ooh, nice shove. Got all of them. Cool.
Just sit. I was on my rite of passage into adulthood. Most of the core was wiped clean, but I salvaged something from its audio banks.
Tali is good. She has a shotgun.
Crime was a major victory. The beacon has brought us one step closer to finding the conduit.
That's Siren's voice. This proves he was involved in the attack.
Thanks. You won't regret this.
So I'm gonna go ahead and grab these two, bring them along. I'm not gonna equip them yet because I actually don't want them to be good at combat quite yet. I will want them to be good in a little bit though, and at that point I will equip them. Back to the Citadel Tower. If I hadn't talked to Garrus earlier, I would have shown up where I showed up the first time. Instead, I am up here and much closer to Captain Anderson. Another thing, though, the game is going to try to play 2 cutscenes at the same time here, so, yeah, that normally would crash the game, so instead, quick save, load. And now I'll talk to Captain Anderson again. This time it'll only play 1 of the cutscenes.
Eden Prime was a major victory. The beacon has brought us one step closer to finding...
Yeah, I'm not a fan of what they did with Tali's face, but, you know, whatever. There's some really good fan art that came out before then that I think is honestly better. But that's just my opinion. Commander Shepard, step forward! It is the decision of the Council that you be granted all the powers and privileges of the Special Tactics and Reconnaissance Branch of the Citadel. Spectres are not trained, but chosen. Individuals forged in the fire of service and battle. Those whose actions elevate them above the rank and file. Spectres are an ideal, a symbol, the embodiment of courage, determination, and self-reliance. They are the right hand of the Council, instruments of our will. Spectres bear a great burden. They are protectors of galactic peace, both a first and last line of defense. The safety of the galaxy is theirs to uphold. You are the first human Spectre, Commander. This is a great accomplishment for you and your entire species. Yeah, alright. Get me out of the dialogue, please. And no, I won't be doing that all game. My voice couldn't handle that. Especially not the Asari one. That voice is a little bit hard. So instead of going to CSEC to ride an elevator up to the Normandy here, I am going to head back here to the embassies. Why? Because, well, there's a faster way to the Normandy than elevators, and elevators are boring anyway. Now, I could keep doing the Texan voice a little bit longer, I suppose. So, right here, I'm going to get zipped up to the top of the map, and I'm going to fall down onto this platform here. Just barely made it. Wow. Anyway, now I'm going to sprint off here the wrong way. I think, nope. There we go. There's my visual cue. I just had an awkward angle, but I should be able to salvage this. Should be about here. Whew. We in there. That was a bit touch and go because I was having to just do it by my memory of how far you have to go and where my positioning was. So that worked out. Open the galaxy map, please. Thank you. There is no fall damage in this game. You're not supposed to fall other than like a few feet on Pharos. One of the bigger time saves of that is actually the sequence of entering the Normandy. You skip that, and that's one of the things that saves you a bit more time as opposed to some of the other stuff. I'm going to Noveria first, primarily because it's just the closest one. Your planet order doesn't really matter on New Game Plus. So, pretty much the main thing that affects Planet order in New Game Plus is cutscenes, but after planet cutscenes can be skipped, so that hardly even matters. So, my order here, I'll just go ahead and say, I'm going to do this, then I'm going to do Pharos, then I'm going to do Therum, pick up Liara, and then Vermeer last. And normally you wouldn't have your characters here. One thing of the all missions and assignments are essentially 100% run is that you bring, or at least can bring Garrus to talk to Garrus, because you have to talk to him a few times on the Normandy. And if you bring him along when you clip into the Normandy, then he's there while you talk to him. And there are 2 Garruses.
Logged. The commanding officer is ashore. Exo Presley has the deck.
Get a little sprint there without a grenade. It's nice. Now I'm just going to start swapping weapons. This is just a dialogue skip. It is pretty hard to do without the frictionless scroll that I have. But with the frictionless scroll, it is not that bad. So, by frame-perfect skips, or weapon swaps there, I was able to prevent the dialogue triggers from activating and then saving and reloading. I just completely got rid of them. If I went back there, they would trigger again, but yeah.
Concerns, our friendly administrative staff is always available.
And that was elevator number 1. Yeah, literally cheating is actually an FFZ emote that I think I forgot to add. I wanted to add it for this now that I have one, but I didn't. And it is just a picture of a Logitech G502, or at least a G500 or 400 series, one of the ones with free scroll, and that's it. Shoutouts to Letters Words, the AGDQ run, and made that emote. No, not save. Load. So, you don't need the garage pass, because you can just get in the garage without even opening the door. We make our own doors in this speedrun. Ah, man. That's unfortunate. I tried to activate my marksman power there, but I wasn't able to. There we go, finally. But unfortunately, I didn't hit the right button, so I overheated my weapon, and then things happened. Well, in Mass Effect, what would happen with that would be you would presumably be hitting a kill plane, because that's just all water in this game, and you would die. Otherwise, you would just kind of fall through it to the bottom of the map. It wouldn't affect your physics at all. You'd just kind of fall until you reached a vertical position of 0. I don't have to kill any of this stuff here either. It's just, you know, there. In any percent, I would be killing stuff to get some experience. But obviously, I am already the maximum level, so experience is irrelevant. Even damage done to the Mako is, as you see, not very significant there. Also, Geth armatures are a thing. Thanks for letting me know that, game. And, yeah, the Mako, it's one of the main complaints against this game. It's worse on PC because they do basically WASD and mouse tank controls. And it takes some getting used to. I'll just put it that way. And honestly, its controls are not terrible. Like, once you get used to them, even on PC, they're okay. The real problem is the design of the terrain, which you just have these ridiculously sheer inclines in a lot of places. Not even just on planets like this, but in places that you're supposed to theoretically be able to traverse at least somewhat. And, yeah, it's annoying. But this is an 90% run, so I'm not going to be going to, like, Nota Crux or any of those planets with ridiculous terrain. Snipe! Get wrecked. And I could have jumped a gap over back there, but that is one of the hardest tricks in the run. I've never been able to manage it. I think Letters Words has only done it once or twice, decided not to do it, even go for it at AGDQ. So, oh, whoop. That could have gotten annoying there. The Mako sometimes sticks to surfaces. Also, you're going to see a thing here. This is poor interaction between the game's coding and modern AMD processors. It's just what happens. Not really anything you can do about it other than run an old AMD processor, mod the game, or run on an Intel. And, well, my PC is AMD, so you get these black boxes. It will get even more sillier later. I'll leave that up to your imagination, though some of you already know what I mean by that, I'm sure. Crap. This is a soft lock. Sometimes the game's scripts just don't quite work right. My last autosave is really back there? Oh, God. So I have to go to this quick save. And that is, like, there's really nothing I could have done about that. Unfortunately, what happened there is I pressed the button once to open the elevator. That almost always prevents these issues from happening, but sometimes the game just kind of glitches out like that, and yeah. On the bright side, that's how that fight is supposed to look, so I guess I got a second shot at that. So yeah, soft locks are definitely a thing in this game. Glitches are a thing, including ones that can just kill your runs like that. That elevator, far more often than not, behaves fine, and about 30 seconds after activating that elevator, I was going to do a quick save. That would be absolutely planned as part of the run. So, yeah. That sucks. Sometimes it actually puts you, like, under the elevator or, like, kind of inside the floor of the elevator when it does that. It's weird. And yeah, it's just, like I said, it's an interaction of old coding in this game that could be better, particularly for the PC port. If you want to get yourselves a little laugh, go ahead and check out the guys who ported this game to PC and the other games they worked on. It's not the greatest PC port. But yeah, things like that can even happen in the vanilla game. BioWare games are known for their glitches to begin with. But yeah, Demiurge Studios, if you want to look that up. I don't remember the particulars of it, but I know there's some DS shovelware, and they don't have a long list of stuff that they did. All achievements would be pretty ridiculous, because you'd have to beat the game multiple times. You'd have to beat the game to unlock each successive difficulty. You'd have to beat it with different characters, doing not quite all assignments and missions each time. All assignments and all missions and assignments is roughly a 5-hour run. You could cut that down a little bit with some of the characters, especially the human ones. But in order to get all achievements, you'd also have to play the game as different classes. A couple games would pretty much just end up being grinding out, just like getting to a certain level, saving, grinding out of uses of an ability on boxes, at least for ones that allow that. It would be a very annoying speedrun, probably 16, 17 hours. But it would be 3 complete runs through the game. Plus, I believe, I don't know, maybe you could, I'm trying to think, maybe you could just do an engineer, an adept, and get all of those on that. But you'd still need to do 3 playthroughs. And yeah, I did route all missions and assignments with some help from Your Name here. And it's interesting in parts. It's also very boring in parts. There's a lot of driving around in the Mako, just doing random stuff and getting resources. It is not the best this game has to offer speedrun-wise. It was honestly more an exercise in routing it for me. That's the part that I found interesting.
User alert. All Peak 15 facilities.
Let's also remember to grab this grenade this time. There's always a grenade there.
Biohazard materials present.
And now, quick save complete. And of course it works this time. Also a thing you can do. Now they're normal. Don't ask me why. So, the reason I didn't want my characters to have good equipment yet is because of this section right here. If you kill all the enemies, you won't be able to just kind of skip past this section like I am. With bad weapons, they will not be able to kill everyone. Kind of the 4th elevator, and the 3rd one that's worked properly. And now I am actually going to, wait, no, I wanted inventory, whatever, take all, I don't care. Go ahead and get them some, no, it's that. Some good equipment on. Because I do want them to be useful for the Venezia fight. Where are you? Alright, good. It's dead now. So I'm gonna rinse and repeat. You do the crouch, quick save, load here. And now we're in the sky. The square sky. Because, you know, that's how this game rolls. I'm gonna go ahead and turn around here because I do want to be able to see where I'm going. So I'm using the mini-map in conjunction with certain visual cues to actually check out, you know, where I am. And pretty soon you should see there's that gray box, and you should also see an elevator icon coming into view soon. I am pretty close to where I want to be. I want to go a little bit more that way. A little bit more. This should be good. And yeah, so here's the tram. I don't have to repair Peak 15. I'm just gonna drop down here and go to Rift Station. Weapon and skill choice, sure. Weapon choice, pistols, when you have marksman active, have the same DPS as assault rifles, so we use those. Shotguns are a nice bonus. Just having training in a second weapon so that your character doesn't suck with them is nice. In addition, in New Game Plus, I have Master Carnage just for one fight. You'll keep seeing these graphics for most of the rest of this planet, but not all of it. Just in certain areas. I'm gonna do another safety quick save there because I have had the game crash around here. As far as skills go, I have Overload on my character. I'm going to be using that a couple times later in the run. I have Lift for incapacitating enemies and just kind of moving them around. Throw for dealing damage and moving them around. Most of the damage comes from the weapon, which in New Game Plus is pretty OP. Beyond that, I don't even need a defensive skill, so I don't have one. Warp is used in a couple places, and Adrenaline Rush is in case I need to refresh my abilities, which is not guaranteed to be necessary. Once again, skipping a little bit of dialogue with that guy there by just running right past him while swapping weapons. And now, there are a couple to get to the Benezia fight fast. I'm taking the fastest option here and going right back up to the sky. Once I kind of clip out of bounds there, that is. I'm also pulling out my weapon. This is important for the skip, because if I were to let go of my directions, I would just basically keep going in a direction. But if I enter the menu with my weapon out, my when I do so, my momentum will be set to 0, and I'll just keep falling, but I won't be moving around at all. That's about right. So you can see here, that's the facility on the far left is where Captain Ventralis and the dialogue I skipped was. Kind of just below where you can see is where I clipped up to the sky. And now, if I did this right, at the Benezia fight. This might soft lock. It is. So let's do that again. I missed it by that much. Oh man. That's the unfortunate thing about this skip. There's if you're just a little bit off, even with a good cue, you can miss it. And in that case, Shepard's leg must have been partly clipped into the railing there. So I couldn't get out. Go a little bit farther this time. But I don't want to go too far. Because otherwise, you know, I have the same issue in the opposite direction. There we go. I want my pistol out. There we go. Not much dialogue there, so I don't bother using the frictionless part of my mouse scroll. So there is actually a chance I'll die in this fight. It is mostly down to possibly getting shoved outside the map and hitting a kill plane. Hopefully, obviously, that won't happen, but it can happen. I got shoved there. And if you ragdoll in the wrong way... Oh, jeez, back-to-back shoves. There are two ways you can approach this particular commando. You can use, like, a throw move, or you can just try to kill them right away. I tried to kill them right away, and did not get quite enough damage. There we go. That's most of the fight there. Bye, Benezia. I got shoved long distance there. That happens sometimes. And fight's over.
They always said there would be a...
I was about to say 1006, but... I see we have people with some good taste in this chat. So, in new game runs, because of a thing I'll explain a little bit later, we kill the Arachnite Queen, which is actually a longer cutscene. The entire purpose of that is to get renegade points to be able to persuade Saren, in his second to last form, to basically just kill himself for you, so you don't have to fight him. But in New Game Plus, I already have the persuade skill that I need. So, the default dialogue options happen, and the Arachnite Queen is saved because it's faster. Oh boy, what? I was afraid this would happen. So, you know how I mentioned mouse sensitivity being a thing earlier? My mouse just reset itself to incredibly high sensitivity, and I don't know how I would fix this on the fly. But it's alright, everyone, we're doing it live. So... yeah. Wow. All over. Just woo! I was afraid of that. One of the problems with modifying it in-game, I actually can't. Because of the INI changes, we have to make the INI file read-only. But, yeah, it's still like that. So, you know what? Control panel. Holy crap, my mouse is flying all over. What is going on here? That's like a normal setting. How is it like this? That's better, I think. Okay. Okay, this is much better. I can work with this. It's still a bit more sensitive than I'm used to, but not nearly as bad. Pharaoh's next. Am I accidentally switching between profiles or something? I might be. Huh. Well, I'll mess around with it. I thought I had that disabled, but apparently not.
Message coming in.
Commander Shepard.
Yup. I did not have that properly disabled. That explains everything. Anyway, adventures with PC settings, because I swear I thought I had that disabled, but what do I know? So, Pharaohs.
Equalizing interior pressure with exterior atmosphere. Logged. The commanding officer is ashore. Exo Presley has the...
Let's save this guy's life, at least momentarily.
We saw your fleet up the stairs past the freighter.
Oh, he got wrecked anyway. Oh, come on. So I want to be able to use some of these enemies to sprint later on, and also to be able to hold my sprint a little bit longer in here, so I'm not going to kill them. See, that time I didn't even press the settings button, and it just changed. So there must be something with the game's programming that is messing with it. And it just started today. So, I don't know. I'm going to have to figure this out. Anyway, I'm skipping most of Pharaohs here because the Thorian is the ultimate goal. And you can just clip right down to it. And I'm going to get 32 Renegade points here, even though all the colonists are still alive, so you can pay attention to the little data thing on the side. Right there, Renegade 32, 16 colonists alive. That is why we go for Intimidate in the new game run. Yeah, I didn't hit that either, Kinky Jenkins. So I'm intentionally waiting for this dialogue to start because otherwise you delay it starting. So these Thorian nodes have resilience, damage resistance basically, that is dependent on how many Thorian creepers are alive around it, and also these Asari clones that you see dropping right now. Clones are the most important part. They give more damage resistance and more and they have more annoying abilities, so I'm going to try to disable them whenever they show up right away, then kill them. As for the general strategy here, it is to kind of mix destroying the creepers and destroying the nodes quickly. That time I just out-damaged the... Okay, good. Warp went where I wanted it to. That allowed me to kill a lot fewer creepers there. Kill that Asari clone. Whoops. I wanted to... There we go. I am missing a fingertip right where the hotkeys are, so that makes it a little bit tricky to hit the right one at times. Which one is the clone? There it is. Alright. There we go. Could have been worse. I applied a Windows update. I think we have our culprit. Windows update strikes again. Anyway, Shiala lives because it's the default option and it's faster. Whoops. There we go. You can actually do a quick save and load there in that state before the dialogue started where I was swapping weapons. And, yeah. you can't get out of there, but you can kind of skip this and soft lock yourself instead. Freaking Windows update.
I saw something. It still didn't make any sense.
That's close enough.
You can skip that little dialogue there with Ethan, Jong, and them, but doesn't really make any difference. There's Ledra. You can see, obviously, the colonists are still here. Even though I got renegade points, they're still alive. Game counts them as being alive, just gives you the wrong type of points because you saved them. Did they kill them all? Yeah, they killed them all. At least I have a lot of grenades. No, Shiala lived.
I think we got him, Commander.
You can also skip this post-mission cutscene, but without Liara, it's not really important. You have to skip 2 cutscenes in order to actually get through it, and that makes it less worth it. So now they're going to tell me about Vermeer, and I'm going to head right back in there. But I'm not going to head there just yet. Moving around during decontamination just makes it take longer, though, so I don't want to do that. So if you get Liara late, she has some funny dialogue, but since we're kind of running up against some technical difficulties in this run, and had that one soft locked because the game just decided to not run properly, I'm just going to skip through it. I'm sure there's probably a video of it out there somewhere. It's pretty funny. Wow, that got changed to a really low speed. Let's go to the next setting. This is better. So, big, long Mako driving section here. Fortunately, the chances of soft locking here are significantly lower. I have managed to soft lock in a pretty hilarious fashion. I'll mention how I did when I get there. But yeah, Liara's dialogue is basically, she's been in there so long she thinks she's going crazy and thinks you're a hallucination. K-Dust. K-Dust would be good for this. Quick save failed because I didn't kill those armatures, but that's okay. So, the place that I soft locked is also this little skip that I'm going to be doing here. It's a bridge skip. I managed to get myself wedged completely inside that little gap right there where my cursor is. Come on, get unstuck there. Alright, we're over. Not ideal, but it's fine. Because it's New Game Plus, I'm going to send my squad over there so they don't shoot the Mako up. They do a lot more damage to the Mako than the Geth do, actually. So I don't want them doing that. But yeah, not only did I get the Mako stuck in that tiny little gap, I got it stuck nose pretty much straight down. I may have to tweet that out and pop a link in chat after this run because it is pretty silly. But otherwise, the chances of soft locking are pretty low and not until a bit later. And I'll just do a safety quick save before that anyway. I should probably get Input Viewer going for Mass Effect runs when I do them, just because the things I do with the Mako, there's a lot of like little taps of left and right that I do. It's more art than science, honestly. Speaking of that little gap, I'm going to bring the Mako through it. So, That is the chance of soft locking that I mentioned earlier. There we go. Had to kill him so I could quick save here. Just gonna get myself lined up a bit. Quick save. Alright, not the first try. Nope. It's kind of a specific angle I'm shooting for. That was close. I was a little bit too far right, but I had the angle. Raspberry. Only one man would dare give me raspberry. Lone Star. Alright, so that's enough of a bounce that I'm just going to reload the save. So it's about as quick as I would be able to recover from that. This is taking me a little while longer than it usually does. This is an inconsistent skip. You can just get right through there on your first try, or it can take you a while. One of the harder ones in the game, actually. And of course, in practice right before this, I did pretty much exactly that first try, so of course it would take a while to get it in my actual marathon run, because that's marathon luck. There we go. This is really kind of a tricky part to navigate. You don't want to go too fast, because you will hit things and bounce off of them. So you want to manage your recoil off of them properly. So a funny thing about when you get to this point in the Mako, not only is it faster than running through that whole section, it messes with the AI here. I believe Tali's hacking can reactivate some of these things. Do a quick shot with the Mako there. Weirdly enough, it always defaults you to having your assault rifle out there. I don't know why. There are two more elevators in here, and the theme of not liking elevators just gonna skip down to the bottom here. Unfortunately, I cannot enter the mining laser right now because area not clear of enemies. I'll let you hear the first line before I skip it all. Are you real? Oh no, don't be stupid, Liara. Humans do not come here, you're hallucinating. It goes on from there. It's funny. So kill these guys. And now, random on the PC, but deterministic on console. that was still pretty good. And I could take the elevator to get to Liara, but screw elevators. I can clip through here. Tali is the best girl in this game, I would say. I used to be a Miranda guy, but actually Jack won me over since then. Their character arc. That said, Best Girl is still the Mass Effect 3 assistant that you have, the kind of British Indian girl. Skipping that cutscene. Because obviously it's long. Takes time. Oh no, it used to be about that. Now it's off to Vermeer. Yep. Grill is best grill.
Commander, I'm reading a signal. Must be our Solarian infiltration team.
Check out those defense towers. Drop the Mako. We'll go in hot and take them out.
I'll get you in underneath their radar.
Let's not go past this level, though. Don't want to get too far past, you know, good-natured joking here.
Once those towers are offline, joke around.
So, yet another long Mako section. Hey, a grenade. Wow. Really not much to the first part of this section. I'm just going through this entire thing. Then there is a little bit more interesting stuff once I have to open the couple gates that come later on in this section. if this were a new game run, I'd be killing more things just because experience is good, but obviously I don't need to in New Game Plus. Now here, I'm going to do a couple things. I'm going to park the Mako in a fairly precise position up here. About there. Should do. Then I'm going to tell my squad to go in there, because I don't want them to kill all the enemies too soon. And having enemies around basically means you can freely sprint, and obviously that is faster. And if I positioned it right, get into vehicle from up there. That guy's stuck in the wall. Nice. Then with slightly more lenient positioning here, the reason I'm tucking my character specifically there instead of just like behind the Mako is because the first marathon run I ever did of this, before RPG Limit Break was even a thing, at speedrunning event called Crystals for Life, I ran this game, and my party members ended up with the Mako between them and a Geth, and they destroyed the Mako. So I had to do this section twice. I was not happy. I have not played Mass Effect Andromeda. I'm waiting for it to get stupid cheap and then I'll pick it up, I figure.
Commander, Normandy's touched down at the base, but it looks like we're grounded. The Solarian captain can explain when we get here.
So that was a pretty good Mako section.
There is the Solarian captain.
And now you're wondering whether I'm going to save Ashley or Kaidan. The answer is I'm lazy and just going to use my scroll wheel, and my scroll wheel is going to select the default option, which is going to send Ashley to the place where she by default gets saved. So Ashley lives because of laziness.
You all know the mission and what is at stake. I have come to trust each of you with my life, but I have also heard murmurs of discontent. I share your concerns.
Yeah, $5 to $10, I figure. I don't know if I'd buy it for 10, but less than 10 probably. Like maybe more like $7.50.
Shadow is on the ground. Repeat, Shadow is on the ground.
So I'm not going to help Kaidan and the Solarians out at all, just because helping them out is slow.
Fire is coordinated on Monavite team. We can't reach the Geth turrets. They're out of range.
They'll be okay. I would actually save Kaidan otherwise, just because he has abilities that are useful. And the only time I ever use Ashley is for the Thorian fight in new game runs, because she has more hit points, and her being a hit point sponge is more valuable than Kaidan's biotics and tech powers in that fight. At least in my opinion. I think I'm the only one who does that.
We're getting pounded. Bunker up before the aircraft return.
Yeah, it takes a while to do 100% in this game if you don't have, like, a speedrun route. Gonna let those guys live for now. And I am going to equip Liara now. Oops, that one. Savant. And this thing can be annoying to select. You can see it kind of disappeared on me there. Again, general philosophy of not killing stuff because it lets you run when there are enemies around.
Is someone out there?
Now this area down here, it can be a little wonky. I'm going to kill those two really fast, which I did. Now, okay, good. Sometimes you have to do a little bit of stuff to a husk there to get the door to actually be openable, and for you to skip the husk fight. Speaking of skips, there's a collision underneath this bridge, and you can skip through the raised portions of it. And yeah, that skips the scene with the Reaper and the Cypher-like thing and all that. It also means the Krogan that normally spawn here are not present.
All clear.
You do have to kill all these enemies here, so go ahead and take them out. I accidentally became fatigued there, but I didn't lose much time to it. Wouldn't have had that much more sprint. Wait just a second after this elevator arrives, and then throw.
Area secured.
Well, in this case, we are doing a speedrun, so the categorical imperative says that we need to go fast. And the thing of greatest utility is, of course, speed. So, you know, different philosophy there. Speedrun, you go fast.
All right. Nice work. That's what this thing is worried about. Commander, I'm bringing us in. I'll get as close to the site as I can.
So this area with the nuke you can get back to faster, and that is the whole reason why Ashley survives, because the default dialogue options put her here. If I cared enough, I would have just gone through that dialogue a little bit slower, but meh.
Bomb is in.
But the real question is it your favorite franchise on the Citadel? You don't have to kill all those guys to use the elevator, but you do have to for the skip I'm about to do here. In that case, I do actually have to be a little bit careful and not pick the default options, because I do want to head back this way. This is the faster way I mentioned. So I'm just going to clip out of bounds here, kind of walk along this rail here, and then fall in bounds with these Geth who have frozen AI, because I did not enter here in the normal way, and just kill them. As for the Saren fight here and the dialogue before it, in a new game run, you would do one of the persuade options here. That would be to reduce the amount of persuade you need in the final persuade option to skip the last fight with Saren before he gets taken over. Spoilers. From 12 to 9. So here, I don't care because I already have 12 in both. Pretty quick fight. I waited to use Overload a little bit longer than I normally would because he wasn't near any of the tanks. And otherwise you just shoot him with your gun. On New Game Plus, it's usually worth it to warp him as well to get more damage, but just that you get so much damage per second with a Spectre 10 pistol with Master Marksman going that you don't even need that.
Alright, everybody, hang on!
And there's another cutscene here, so of course, I'm gonna skip it.
Forwarded the mission.
So now, you got the whole Citadel thing here with the impound.
It's just politics, Commander. You've done your job, now let me do mine. We've locked out all the Normandy's primary systems until further notice you're grounded.
It doesn't really matter who I bring here.
Equalizing interior pressure.
Especially since, instead of, you know, doing what you're supposed to do, I'm just going to go over here, quick save, there we go. Oh, come on. Drop down. There we go. Okay. So about here. And this is the one of the more imprecise skips in the run, and I missed. Okay. This should be better. Where am I? Great. Right where I want to be. So if you do that skip again without doing any of the post-planet cutscene skips, or maybe it's planet order, I forget exactly what goes into it. If your name here is still around, he could probably say if he remembers. You can actually completely unlock every single character, even the one who died, and the ones you didn't recruit. So for that Crystals for Life run, I actually had a donation incentive to bring Ashley and Caden to the final boss. Yeah, I think you have to do Vermeer third. I think that's a factor. Anyway, Ilos. Getting near the end of the run here. There's not a whole lot more to do. The game handles it just fine. I mean, it just plays the dialogue according to the script, and they have scripts for both characters saying things in each case, and so it works fine. It is kind of funny, though. I do think Caden's bland. I think it's unfortunate with a lot of male love interest types in BioWare games that they just weren't very interesting. Just as characters. We have to have someone who's edgy a little bit and brooding, but he obviously has a good heart. And I just don't like that kind of character. So... back the Mako up a little bit to get it closer later on. And I am going to kill all the stuff here because I do want to make a safety save. For this skip I'm about to do. Because it can go wrong, and it can go wrong in somewhat weird ways. First off, I'm going to lift this box up. One of the unfortunate things is that because I have Master Lift and a Savant 10 amp, it's going to keep going up for a little bit, but it will drop, and any moment now. There we go. So now I'm on top of them, and hey Liara, wanna be a good girl and put a singularity over there? Oh, I put it a little bit too far away. That's unfortunate. Let's wait a little bit. Oh wait, no. I think she's... You are in the way. Yes, go over there. Now put another singularity once that recharges. There we go. So now I'm going to ride this platform up, make sure I don't fall off too soon, and I fell off too soon. Let's give this one more try. And we have to wait for this again. Alright, they aren't... No, get over there. Don't be in my way again. Alright, singularity. Whoop! Almost fell off there. Didn't go high enough. Wow. I have played that game, so I have heard about it. Both characters act the same, more or less, in Mass Effect 2. I think Tali might end up on top with me. She did! Let's see if we can do a double skip here. Two characters. Nope, she fell off. I'm not surprised. Oh. I'll give this one more try. Place it a little bit farther away. I think my first positioning... No, it was too far away. That's why it didn't work then. I'll try this singularity one more time, and then this is it. This is the last time I'm going to try this skip. I've never had anywhere near this trouble getting it to work. It's like the box, when it gets there, has always been too low. It's been too low every single time. So, I'll have to do this normally. That is unfortunate. So what I wanted to do is skip down to the bottom of an elevator here. You can see it done in the AGDQ run. And I was trying to do that same thing, basically. There are two versions of the skip. One is a little bit faster, but much, much more risky. Not really marathon safe. And I was going to do the same version where you fall down the elevator, drop down into the area, fight the Geth that I'm about to fight, but you come in from the opposite direction and don't have to run all the way around there and take this elevator down.
This place still has power. It must be running off its own generator.
This must be the command center for the entire complex. Saren's troops must have sealed the doors from here after he went inside. We will have to figure out how to disengage the security lockdown if we ever want to get inside that bunker.
Let that guy live a little bit longer, just so I have a little bit more sprint. That's alright, Bria.
Hold on.
Things have been happening in this run anyway. And yeah, this is the other part where the graphics get weird and have black silhouettes instead of, you know, normal character models. It is a GPU thing, and or CPU, but it's just kind of a combination of shoddy programming and new AMD equipment. It works fine on newer Intel processors, but not on newer AMD ones. It's not the graphics chipset, though, because I have an NVIDIA graphics card. But I have an AMD processor, and that is the key thing in this case. At this rate, with those troubles, I wouldn't be surprised if I go over estimate. I'm not even sure what my time is right now.
But I never dreamed I would discover anything like this. This bunker might have been the last refuge of their entire species.
At least only one of the two biggest time losses was my fault, I think. I must have been messing up this ILO skip in some way that I just, you know, wasn't realizing at the time.
I am sorry. I was swept up.
What are all those things on the wall?
Yeah, there are a couple Geth up there.
They look like
See if I can hit one of them with a cannon.
Hehehe. Something must have gone wrong. This bunker became their tomb. The pods are dead as well as...
You haven't seen the best of it yet, though.
All of them? There must be hundreds of those pods.
And unfortunately, you do have to stop here.
What is happening?
It's a trap. Saren must have set an ambush.
But,
I think Saren is behind
yeah, nice elevator, huh? You can skip this elevator, but it's pretty tricky and hardly saves any time.
Whatever we find, be cautious. If this were simply an automated trap, Saren would have triggered it as well.
You are not.
And that is the last elevator of the run right here. There's supposed to be more, but, well, you'll see.
Just like my people. But they also gave us a chance to save ourselves. We must hurry.
Kaboom! See if I can do this at full speed. Nope. That was for swag. Nice roll, though. Usually I slow down just a little bit there, and it makes it hilarious how much... It's hilarious just how much easier that makes it. Might be a lighting issue, I don't know. It's all with certain objects that end up with this effect on them, and if someone wants to look into it to figure exactly why it happens, then by all means go ahead, but I don't care enough. I think it's just silly. So, there's a little bit more to this section, but not much. What I do want you to do is, at the end of it, pay attention to the conduit. It's very important. Another grenade. I have no need for grenades anymore, but I got one. Oh my god. That's certainly a word for it, Liara. Incredibly something. I'm going to start after this cutscene a little bit farther forward because I used the Mako's jets to jump up a little bit earlier. It took my control away, but I was in the air instead of on the ground, so I just went farther before it stopped me. I already know I'm lined up well. Got a 14. That's what you want to get. It is worth bearing in mind about all this graphical stuff that A, this game came out in 2007, 2008, depending on whether you're talking about the console or PC version. PC version was what, second. And, well, this isn't the best PC port out there. There's actually, like, a glitch in the code that a mod fixes that makes it look like that. Does not really alter any of the other game files. Whee! Okay, there we go. I was wondering, I think one of them landed on a place where it didn't die when I threw it over. Come on. It escaped. There we go. So now I'm kind of bounds here, and I'm going to skip that elevator and the whole section that goes along with it. Land here. So now, yeah, I'm in the turret section, heading towards the tower in the end of the game. Getting fatigued there is actually fine. This combat is going to last a little bit. This port is very playable, but there are some significant flaws to it as well.
I think we're done here.
So these geth don't matter, I just need to hit this place up here. And now I'm going to be careful to pick the persuasion dialogue options, and that skips a fight here. Horse armor. Yeah, I remember horse armor. They'd still wander off and get wrecked by random Daedra anyway, so it didn't matter. I am not using my scroll wheel for that dialogue because if I did, I would risk getting a frame-perfect input, even even without free scroll on. And if that happened, I would pick the default option, not the one I had my cursor near. Now, this here, I, of course, pick the fastest option, which is saving the council. Like it or not, it's faster, so I do it.
Alliance ships, move in. Save the Destiny Ascension.
Commander, we're picking up reinforcements. It's the Alliance. Thank the goddess.
So now, at this point, I have two phases in the final boss fight. First one is going to be after a bit more cutscene like this, and a little bit more cutscene with Shepard and company. So then there'll be fight, cutscene, fight, and then on the final hit on that second one will be time. The strategy for the fight is pretty simple. Stun lock the boss with lift and shoot him a lot.
Make sure he's dead.
If you're asking why I'm slow, well, the game did a dumb and soft locked, losing me a few minutes, and then I struggled with the skip and lost some more time.
He's dead.
After all that nonsense, I'm not surprised I'm overestimate. Although we're still pretty close to the end here. Yep, things happen in marathon runs. Believe me, I should know by now. I've had runs of this game that have gone well under estimate, as well as ones that have gone over and been right around estimate, so it kind of runs the gamut depending on how I do with the skips, how the game treats me, and so on. There's one time I'm pretty sure I triggered cheat detection in the game. I ended up in like this little room. I want to hit Saren before too much happens there. Alright, so that's the first phase of the fight. Obviously, pretty quick.
Sovereign's too strong. We have to pull back. Negative. This is our only chance.
So get ready on time. This is going to be pretty quick. And time. So at this point, since we're already a little bit behind schedule, I don't know how much of this we really need to watch. It's pretty much just this thing falling down, Normandy flying, Shepard having kind of a scare like, is he dead? No, there he is.
Its shields are down. Now's our chance.
Hit it with everything we got.
That's basically the run. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Despite all the silliness that happens. Messed up the Benezia skip once. Just barely. Usually when you end up there, you're able to get off the railing. That was just kind of a combination of me messing up ever so slightly and then bad luck. The elevator thing earlier on Noveria was just the game. And then I really wish I could have got ILO skip. But honestly, the rest of the run was pretty good, so I'll take it. Feel free to cut away whenever you want.